Yanko stifled a groan, trying to blink away the sand in his eyes and spit out the dirt plastering his tongue. Pain shot from his hands to his neck as his arms were nearly twisted from their sockets. He tried to ignore the titters, whispering from the rows of young men and women watching him, but embarrassment flushed his cheeks. He couldn't see them. He couldn't see much more than people's shoes at the moment, but he knew his father and uncle were watching too, probably with their faces buried in their hands.
"How's that taste, kid?"
The behemoth grinding his knee into Yanko's back asked. Kid? Yanko was 18 now, the same age as most of the other Stargrind applicants. Just because this hulking thug had been in prison or chained to the oars in a longship for long enough to grow a beard down to his chest didn't mean Yanko was the anomaly here. He shifted his hips, trying to buck the big man off him, but with his arms pinned behind his back, he couldn't find the necessary leverage. His opponent only shoved him deeper into the dirt of the training arena. "Tastes fine," Yanko rasped around the dust in his throat. "A little nutrient depleted perhaps, but nothing some enhanced compost wouldn't help."
"What?"
The thug jostled Yanko as if he had been speaking in a foreign language. "Doesn't anyone study the earth sciences these days?"
"Earth magic is for old women and simpering slugs."
The brute's head lowered so he could growl.
"Which one are you?"
in Yanko's ear. Before Yanko could come up with a witty reply, not that one had been poised on the tip of his tongue, the proctor's red and black boots came into view. "Do you yield, White Fox?" Yanko swallowed. He wanted nothing more than to stretch down into the earth with his senses and create a quake that would hurl his tormentor into the harbor for the sharks to munch on. But magic was forbidden in the dueling portion of the exam, and he couldn't have summoned the necessary concentration anyway, not with dirt caking the insides of his eyelids. There was a reason even experienced warrior mages had bodyguards. "Yes," he whispered. He had no other choice.
"What?"
his tormentor asked, twisting Yanko's arms more painfully behind his back.
"I don't think anyone heard you."
That drew more titters from the crowd, but thankfully the proctor said, "Enough, Sly Wolf. Let him up." Sly Wolf? What a clan name for that thug. He was about as sly and cunning as a lizard of burden. If not for his strength and superior reach. His opponent stood up, and blood rushed back into Yanko's fingertips, the sensation almost as painful as being pinned. He shook out his arms and told himself not to make excuses for his performance. He'd done well in the earlier rounds, far better than he expected. There was no shame in second place. Or so he thought. When he risked a glance toward the logs where the applicant's family members and tutors stood, he spotted his father shaking his head and muttering something to his uncle. Yanko bit his lip and looked away. What had he expected? "The winner of the combat stage of the test is Sly Wolf," the proctor announced to the crowd. The champion grinned through his beard and thrust his muscled arms upward in victory. The other applicants chanted a hasty chorus of the appreciation song, but it sounded forced. Understandable. Sly Wolf had pummeled many of them, too. "The next stage of the test is the obstacle course." The proctor extended a hand toward the harbor where an ancient lizard skeleton, the size of a great whale, rose out of the shallows, its bones long ago preserved and strengthened so they would stand up to people clambering over them. Floating platforms, swinging ropes, and stationary whirlwinds of air waited to challenge the applicants. "You are allowed to use the mental sciences during this portion of the test. It is a physical event, but it's unlikely you'll pass without calling upon them. You'll have 10 minutes to finish, but remember, only the top 10 applicants will be accepted into Stargrind."